My best friend and I didn't speak for 2 years. Hey everyone, welcome to Miracles Big and Small. I'm Hannah, and this is where I share all the miracles I've seen God do in my life, the big and the small. And today, I want to talk about the miracle of connections and how God uses those connections in our lives and we don't even know it. So let's dive in. Connections are super important, and I know from very early on we're always told to be kind to others because we never know who might be our boss one day. But we should also be kind to others because we never know what God has planned. You never know how someone could impact your life, which is really crazy to think about. And I want to do like a TV reference because everyone always says like, oh, like this person's, they're here for this season of my life, but they're not here to stay. And that's true. It's very true. But also, there's people who also like guest star, but what they do like changes the whole episode, like changes the season. And so I want to talk about that a bit more because I have been the main character where other people have impacted my life, and I've also been the guest star where I get to impact someone else's life for good. Well, I think it was for good. We'll get into that. So yeah, when I was the main character, all started back when I was just 5 years old. I became best friends with my friend. I'm gonna call her Kate because she came up to me during recess and was like, "You don't have any friends, so I'll be your friend." And I was like, "Okay." And that was that. We were friends since, which is crazy to think about now because I'm much more extroverted and she's more introverted. But back then, I was very, very shy. So her coming up to me was just really sweet and awesome. And we'd play at recess all the time, but life goes on. First grade, we didn't have the same class that year, but I would still go over to her house like once a week. We'd have snacks. Her mom would have crafts for us to do. Had a blast. Second grade, the same thing. Didn't have the same class, but I would still go over to her house. Third grade comes. We don't have the same class, and we start to drift apart. So I didn't speak to my best friend for 2 years because the same thing happened in fourth grade. We just didn't have the same class, and we kept drifting apart. Which, it happens. Absolutely it happens. But God has plans because in fourth grade, I actually ended up becoming best friends with this girl named Addie. Well, I'm going to call her Addie. And yeah, she was great. We would play at recess all the time. We were very much on the same page, like academically. We both wanted A's. Like, we were going to work hard, and she's really smart. So we hit it off. We became really good friends. But life goes on. Fifth grade comes, and we don't have the same class. And I'm like, this is going to suck. But again, God has plans because what actually ended up happening was Addie and Kate had the same class, and they became really good friends. And they included me in with them. So we became a trio, and we hung out at recess all the time. We were playing. They were actually going to the same church, which was non-denominational, so they brought me with them. I ended up going to their youth groups Sunday night. We went to a Christian summer camp. One week we went to VBS. Like, we were doing all the things, and it was so much fun. And through that, I got to grow in my faith as well. I got to see, because like I mentioned in my first video, I'm Catholic. So I got to see from another perspective, like God's love and how they grow in their faith and just all those good things, all the good things, which is really cool for me to see on how they get to grow in their relationship with God, and it helped me grow in my relationship with Him as well. So that was just amazing. Sixth grade comes, we're in middle school, the three of us are hanging out again still. But seventh grade comes, and Addie's parents decide that they're gonna homeschool her. And she was on board with it. Like, she didn't like being at school, so it worked out really well for her. But that just meant that we kind of drifted apart, and we were still friends, but just not as close. But Kate and I ended up staying really good friends, and we did all through middle school, all through high school. I was the maid of honor in her wedding recently, She's the one I go on coffee dates with. We do our Bible study together, and she continues to help me grow in my faith with God, my relationship with Him, which is amazing. And Addie, I still keep in touch with her. She ended up going out of state for college, and she's doing amazing. I've always admired her faith as a kid, but I even more admire it now as an adult. She recently just went on a mission trip with people she didn't know because she's like, I'm gonna go serve the Lord. And I'm like, absolutely, you are. That's incredible. Something I would be terrified to do, but she's doing it, and it's so amazing to like watch her and support her. And I'll always be in her corner, and I know she will always be in mine. If she ever comes back, like we get to catch up, and it's always a lot of fun. But when I take a step back, like I see that the miracle from God is that He put Addie in my life at the right time. Perfect timing. She met me first, and then she met Kate, and she brought us together. Because without Kate, she's been my rock, like through high school, she's seen me at my highest of highs, my lowest of lows, and she's still my rock, like she's still my best friend. And that's so amazing because God knew that I needed her and that she needed me. And so He found a way to bring us together and brought us Addie. And so she's great. And I just think like when you take a step back, you're like, whoa. And that has to do with kindness because like, again, like if Kate hadn't shown me kindness back when we were like little kids, I wouldn't want to be her friend in 5th grade. And Addie, like if I hadn't shown Addie kindness in 4th grade, like she won't want to be my friend in 5th grade. So like kindness is so important all around because you never know. You never know what God has planned. And so that was my main character. I got my best friend, got the miracle of friendship, and as corny as it sounds, it's true. But I also wanted to tell you about when I was a guest star because this one's one of my like favorite stories. So we have to go all the way back to when I was just 5 years old. My family we'd moved house, we moved to a new neighborhood, and there are these twin boys across the street. I'm gonna call them Brock and Brady. And my parents were really good friends with their parents, so the three of us played all the time. They were a year older than me. We play all the time. It was the only time I used a landline phone because, yeah, we had them. And so I'd call their house and be like, you come play, and they'd do the same, like, you come play, like, yeah. So we played for years, like, all through, like my childhood, like, we'd play and hang out, but we got older. They went to a different school, they're boys, they're a year older than me. So we ended up, drifting away, drifting apart. But they were always so kind to me, so I never had anything bad to say about them. The only good things, because they're great. And so, yeah, that was that. Or so I thought. Because in college, I ended up going to a college about an hour plus away from my house to play golf. It's amazing. I'm going to do a separate video about that later. But that happened. But in our conference, there's a college that's really close to my house, like 10, 15 minutes away. And so I ended up playing with a girl from that college in one of our tournaments. And she was amazing. Like I'm gonna call her Lauren. She is so amazing. She would always encourage me. She's 2 years older than me. And if I was like, like, I don't, like, that was a horrible shot, she'd be like, no, like, you got this, like, confidence. She was always so positive, and it just helped me out so much. She was so kind. She was amazing. And so then later, I would say a year later, that was my freshman year, my sophomore year, I find out that that my neighbor apparently has a crush on her because he worked at the golf course that their school plays at. And so my parents were talking to his parents, and I was like, oh, yeah. Find out that Brady has a crush on Lauren. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, like, I'm gonna make this happen. Like, they're both so great. So I get the green light from my mom and from his mom because he's really shy and Lauren's a stranger to him. So, like, he was like, I'm not gonna do that. I was like, I got that. I'll be that connection for you. So I text her on Instagram like, hey, I'm like, I have this friend, like, he thinks you're really pretty and he has all of these good qualities. Like, I am hyping him up. I'm putting my skills to work. I was like, can I give him your Instagram so he can reach out to you? And she's like, yeah, that'd be okay. I'm like, okay, sweet. And so I'm like, hey, I screenshot that and I send it to him. I'm like, hey, go for it. Like, here's your shot. And he's like, I don't know who that is. I'm like, oh, turns out his parents had seen her and they really liked her and they wanted to set them up. And I'm like, oh, see, I didn't know that. But you should still, I was like, you should still ask her out because she is great. She's amazing. So I was like, you should still do it. And so after some convincing, he did. And they recently just celebrated their 1 year, which is incredible. And I'm like, it makes me so happy because I'm like, what do you mean I got to be a part of that? And I know this is from God because his parents had also seen her at church and they're Catholic as well. And so she was asking me about him. She's like, what's he like? Like anything? I was like, he's Catholic. And she's like, no way. I'm Catholic. And I'm like, really? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's crazy. Crazy coincidence. Not a coincidence. That is God working. He's like, I see my children. I'm like, these two need each other. And like, I get to be that connection. That's so cool. But again, kindness goes such a long way because, like, if Brady hadn't been kind to me as a child, I wouldn't want to set him up with Lauren. And if Lauren hadn't been kind to me on the golf course, because some of those girls are mean, I was like, I'm not setting her up with him. But they were both so kind. And so I was like, yeah, of course. They're great. I'm going to set them up. They're so sweet together. They're amazing. And from eavesdropping, I did hear that she keeps Brady in line and makes sure he goes to Mass. So I think that's just so awesome. So I want to encourage you that if you ever feel lost, lonely, or you feel like you don't have a purpose, take a step back and just look at your life and see like where God has put you, because his timing is perfect. Like, and see how you've been able to like help people impact their lives a bit. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. There was even this one time where I was super sick. Like, my throat hurt so bad. And I had finally gotten medication and I had to go to Meyer to pick it up, And they kept messing up my prescription, like it wasn't getting sent in. And it finally got sent in like late afternoon. And so I go to Smile and I'm just like kind of like miserable. But I got some groceries while I was there. And I was going to the self checkout and there was this sweet old man. And he was like, hey, like, do you know how to work these things? I just had to come get an orange for my wife. Because it was around Christmas time and I think, or Thanksgiving. I think she was going to make cranberry sauce. I was like, that's so sweet. Yes, I can help you. And so while that's like not like anything major, at least like that's not life changing. Maybe it was for him, but just like a small act of kindness and like God putting me like, because that was frustrating for me. Like I wanted my medicine, but I was like, no, just wait. You'll live. Just wait, so you can show this one person this act of kindness and like help him. Like I think that's so cool, and something I think like can very much be like get overlooked. So when you take a step back and you realize like when certain people came into your life, simple acts of kindness people have done for you, acts of kindness you've done for others, like those little miracles from God, like God's timing is a miracle because it's always perfect. And I like to think of him playing chess, like he has so many moves, counter moves, like he has a plan and he has multiple ways to like win the game, if you will. So you might feel like you strayed off a path. Well, God can bring you back. It's okay. Like you might feel like you made a wrong move. It's okay. Like God's still under control. Like he's got this. He will put the right people in your life. He will take the wrong people away, as sad as that can be. But everything has a purpose, and his timing is perfect. So I just want to encourage you, be kind to others. You never know how you might impact their life. You never know how God might use you to help them grow in their faith, and you might not even realize it. Because I remember I was telling my friend Addie, I was like, hey, like, did you know, like, we used to be friends before, and, like, you brought us back together? She's like, no, like, I had no idea. Like, that's crazy. I'm like, it truly is, because you just never know. But God knows, and He sees you, He hears you, and yes, always be kind, and you got this. God's got you.